Have no fear. A hippie here is here, and today we are gonna watch a video by Salt. Um, I really don't know too much about this content creator. I'm just gonna see about going through his tier list, see what he has to say about the different killers in the game, and let's hop on into it.
Shit, I've never done a real killer tier list. So today, in honor of the anniversary, we're gonna do an actual killer tier list.
Okay,
And
so
for
near
those of you who don't
anniversary
know, I'm a
time.
real killer man who's been playing this game for a long time.
I don't like how I'm getting spine shield. Makes me feel like he's looking at. Oh my god, that scared me. Okay.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Is my take cooked? Am I cooked? Starting off with Trapper.
Oh yeah, give him a
The
like
thing
and
about
follow
Trapper
as
is
well.
he's D tier. One thing about Dead by Daylight is the early game is very important. That's why perks like Corrupt Intervention are so good. I'm not gonna oil up. That's why perks like Corrupt Intervention are so
I
good.
know like
Because if a killer
why
can
we have
control
a
the
D
early
tier.
game, the game's over.
I
think,
feel like
if
honestly
Trapper
we
had,
should
like,
really just
Trapper's
have a
bag
F tier.
by default, but they didn't have
Because
to pick up their traps. That would
if
be the
you
best
are
thing
in
possible
like
for him.
as
Oh my
low
God,
as
that was so many
Trapper, you
TDSs.
need to actually have buffs
I don't think
done
Dredge's
to
D tier,
you.
but we'll get there. He needs a buff. As of right now, he's D tier, too slow of a start. Wraith, I think Wraith is B tier. The reason why is because he's pretty straightforward. I don't have much to say about him. I think if
I'm
you
gonna
want to play
skip
like a
through
default
these
killer,
a
if you want the
little
closest
bit
thing
and
to no
just
killer
go
power,
through the
Wraith.
different ones. I think guess our order. Let's see. Oh, what? He has Spirit above Blight. I'm interested in hearing the reasoning for that. I don't feel like I've seen anybody put a Blight underneath Spirit.
I would not put Blight in S tier anymore. I would probably put him high A tier. I think the thing about Blight getting nerfed, his add-ons getting nerfed, sure, whatever. His add-ons can get nerfed. But the main thing about Blight getting nerfed is the hug tech. I think the hug tech is what made him so strong, and it was the clear separation between Blight players and Blight mains. Blight is S tier, Blight is not S tier, I'm sorry. Ever since they removed the hug tech, I definitely bump him down a little
kind of
bit.
fit with
Because
like
now
that.
turning a corner actually works against him, and there are a lot of corners to turn in this game. Hug tech was situational? Yeah, but that was a situation that happened a lot. I feel like a lot of times, like you were getting hug tech hits at least like 5 times a game or more. So he was really strong and he was S tier,
I
and he
feel
still
like it
does have a
was
really good power.
pretty
It's
situational.
just kind of dumbed down now, which isn't that great.
Like
If
I've
that makes
always
sense.
had great
Like, I
effect
feel
with
like limiting
Blight
a
no
power
matter
like
what.
that is kind of a really bad choice. Like, it'd be like making it so Hillbilly can only charge in a straight line. You know what I mean? Like, now you're removing a whole lot of that skill ceiling. It kind of makes Blight more accessible for everyone, the changes that they made, but the
Yeah.
top tier Blight mains are getting bumped down a little bit because now he doesn't have that same power that he once had. So I probably would have taken old Blight, but now he's high A tier. Twins,
I want to get
I'm
back to
putting
Spirit. What did you say about Spirit? There's some Spirit. Okay, yep. Yeah, so I'm very curious as why he put that in the category he did.
anti-loop. He has no way to slow down progress. He has no that great. Spirit is high A tier for me. Might even be low S tier. I think the fact that Nurse got nerfed, I would actually consider Spirit S tier because I think they're a little bit closer to one another. I actually think I have a better chance
are
of leading against a Nurse
Closer
than Spirit.
together.
I think if there's a good Spirit player and they can hear the fucking breathing and they can hear everything, they're just gonna shit on you. Especially depending on the add-ons they run and the build. I mean, if you run like a Nurse with like, I mean, a Spirit with like the
But
insta
Spirit
recharge
also
add-ons
got
and
nerfed. Like her
Hubris,
best
yeah,
add-on got
you're good.
nerfed, and that
Spirit
was
is
the
a really strong
reason she
killer,
was
and she has
considered a
really
part
strong
of
power
S
that has a
tier
lot of
for a
uses.
long
I mean,
time.
you can use the one power for map traversal. Like if you want to get from one side of the map to the other, just use your power. If you want to catch a survivor, just use your power. If you want to be stealthy and you don't want the survivor to know where you are, just use your power. If you're in a chase and you want to end it quick, just use your power. She kind of has it all going for her within one power, which is kind of really impressive and really scary at the same time. Legion, I'd probably put
Hey,
top of C
yeah, I
tier.
just okay. I'll skip forward a little bit. Yeah, that's strange to me. Like The spirit is in like a good place. Like she is, I feel as strong as a killer should be, without like receiving a nerf. You possibly could do her an S tier, but like she's really close to the line. Huntress, I would consider her S tier. After her significant buff she had. What? He put only in B? He put Wesker in B? He put a lot of characters in B. Depends, I can see in B possibly. Not as much, I feel like Pin or B than anything. Um, yeah, Hag and Pig I can definitely see low along with Clown and Legion. Where?
And high A tier at that. The reason why is because he has a lot going for him too, but he excels in what he has going for him. Like his stealth is really, really good. The fact that he can have a stealth mechanic that he cannot be broken out of by survivors, as well as the map-wide footsteps, will constantly like either do one of two things. So the map-wide
The
footsteps are
map-wide
either going to make
footsteps
survivors
only really
paranoid and
affect
think
like
that he's
lower
nearby,
tier
or the
survivors.
survivors are going to disregard those footsteps and might mistakenly disregard Chucky when he pulls up. When he goes into his stealth mode,
It doesn't
listening to
affect like
footsteps
good
isn't the
Swiss
best
at
thing you can
all.
do. The best
Those
thing you can try and
footsteps
do is
really do
listen to
not
his
affect good
laughing and his
Swiss.
giggling. That's how you're going to know whether or not he's really nearby. Because what
He
I've seen a lot
suffers
of
from
survivors
map
do is they ignore
mobility
the
though.
footfalls, and what'll happen is Chucky will pop around the corner and smack him. That's not to mention the strongest part of his kit, which is his dash. His dash is probably my favorite dash in the entire game. And the reason for that is because one, it's really good to use in order to cover distance. It's a very good tool to use at the end of hidey ho mode, where even if you can't get a hit, let's say your hidey ho mode timer is about to run out, just use your dash and you'll get
I
extra
mean, I
distance for
guess,
free.
yeah,
It's
that's
really
only
convenient. Not
applicable
only
time you
that,
should be
but you can
using
curve with
dash
it.
for
You can very
distance.
easily do a hug tech with Chucky and get some really bullshit hits. And anyone who's played against my Chucky knows that I'll get crazy hits behind loops because of how satisfying and good it is to hug tech with him. I don't want to say it's easy because it's definitely not easy, but once you get it down, it's really, really strong. Another part of his dash that's really fucking
Yeah, I would say
strong
Chucky is
is the fact that
definitely
he can
below
go past a
Billy.
survivor. So let's say like
Actually,
someone
I
rescues
would
a
put
survivor, or let's
Artis.
say there's two survivors running away from you and one's
I
healthy
would
and one's
possibly
injured,
put Ars
and that
above
healthy
Billy on
survivor
his
is trying
tier
to body
list.
block for the injured survivor. You can go past them, which is fucking crazy to think about, right? You can dash past the healthy survivor and hit your target, because the dash doesn't end when you hit a survivor. The dash ends when you let go of M2. So there's a
But put
lot of
Skull
like
Merchant and
skill
see
ceiling
that she
in Chucky.
deserves B.
There's a lot of
She's
shit you
tough
can
to
do
deal
with
with.
him that you might not pick up on the first time you play him. His anti-loop and his stealth
I
are
would
really
put
good,
Ghostface
and
and
his mobility
C.
is also up there as
Same
well.
with
So
Doctor.
I think he's just very strong overall, and that's not even to mention the fact that this motherfucker
And
is 2 feet
Deathslinger.
tall. There are so many loops that once you activate your stealth mode, people just can't see you. You're really hard to follow, and once you take away that red stain, you become a true stealth killer. And I think even if you didn't have the dash, the stealth on its own is enough to win a lot of mind games. Like his stealth on his own, with his small stature,
It's
and the
alright.
fact are
It's
easy for
definitely
Chucky. The
strong.
unknown.
I'm
So this is kind of a
curious.
weird one. I'd probably put him above Alien. I think the unknown has so much untapped potential because I've played
Oh,
against
he
unknown
does.
players that hit cross map goo shots. They hit the cross map cum shot and they fucking down you from like 50 feet away. With
I
that
have
being
encountered
said,
some
that's
unknowns who
really,
do
really good
orbitals
mobility and it's well played.
basically,
I've seen
and
so
they are
many
extremely
unknowns
strong,
time the
and they do
teleports
not
because
have to
believe it or not,
reload
they
like
can
Huntress
control where
does.
TP goes. So
And they
if you
have a
can
teleport
find
on
a good
top of
spot to
it.
put your TP that survivors maybe
I would
won't
say
be
honestly,
able to
like
get all the time, like maybe the
I would
top of the map
put
at random, where a survivor
the
can get so
unknown where
granular
he put
to cleanse
Chucky.
it, you can get a lot of value out of them,
Actually,
and they
no,
won't be getting broken all the time.
I
The
would
number one
put
thing about the
Huntress
unknown is
here, and then I put the unknown right
glob is
behind
so fucking good. And the
Chucky.
fact that the survivor
And
has to be looking at you to get rid of it, it can actually help you win a lot of loops as
yeah,
well. Because the
unknown's
survivor's then
incredibly
not giving you
strong.
full attention to the loop out of the fear of getting hit with the glob again. You can do cross maps
It
with it. You
blows
can
my
bounce off
mind that
walls. I
he
think his skill ceiling with
put
Unknown's
spirit
Blob
above
is
blight.
almost infinite. Like I think there is almost an infinite
Like
skill
even
ceiling with his
after
built-in loop.
the
I think
nerfs,
he's one of the
both
strongest
blight
killers on the
and
button, and I don't think people are gonna
nurse
understand that
had
until
a
they make a few games, 2 or 3
significantly
games from
like
now.
off the
When
charts
unknown games are
above
practice full.
spirit,
I think he's like a Huntress
and
survivor,
then
right?
all three of
Where
them
you can
got
get
nerfed.
really, really good with him. And then lastly, Vecna. So before I say this, I want to say that I'm someone
Where'd
who's
Vecna
used
go?
Vecna a lot. I got him to P10 on the PTB, and I've been playing him a shit ton since he came into live servers. And I can confidently say that I would put Vecna in A tier above the alien. I think Vecna, believe it or not, has 2 powers that give him a free hit. I think Vecna's Mage Hand and his Flight of the Damned are free hits if used correctly. Let's start with Flight of the Damned. It's one of those things where the best time to use it is just like Pyramid Head. Flight of the Damned is one of those things that you use when the survivor's stuck in an animation. You might not be able to hit it when a survivor's running a loop normally, but if the survivor's dropping a pallet, if they're vaulting a pallet, if they're on a gen, if they're getting an unhook, if they're vaulting a
What?
window,
Wait,
if you can time
what?
that,
He put
you can
Pyramid
hit them with
Head
the Flight of
that
the Damned
low?
for free. Also, let's say a
Why
survivor's in a
did he
dead
put
zone
Pyramid Head
and you're
that
chasing
low?
them,
I
you
need
can
to
send
find
Flight of
out
the
that
Damned, and
immediately.
yeah, they're gonna crouch it, and yeah, it's not gonna hit them. Effort in. Pyramid Head, oh dude, as much as it sucks to say, I'd probably put Pyramid Head at the top of C tier. The thing about him is his power is very telegraphed. Like, yes, it's good, and yes, it can injure, and yes, he's not technically an M1 killer. The thing about Pyramid Head is you can only really use his power in specific situations. Like once you get to high MMR, the only time you're going to use Pyramid Head's power is if they're dropping a pallet or vaulting a window, which isn't super often. You're only going to get them when you can lock them in an animation. If you're playing against good survivors and you're just trying to use it at a loop, not only are they going to dodge it, but now you're on a cooldown and they're going to buy even more distance. So I feel like Pyramid Head just, I don't know. And his trails are so easily counterable by just crouching on them. Maybe if you couldn't crouch on them, that would bump him up a little bit. And I understand he has his cages and the in-game Mori, which are really cool. But the thing about using something like his cages that you got to understand is, let's say you have a Scourge hook, or let's say you have a perk like Pop Goes the Weasel. Now you can't use those perks because you didn't hook a survivor. You put him on a cage. You get what I mean? So yeah, it might seem efficient, but now you're kind of cucking your perks. You're cucking meta perks because of an in-game power. I feel like he's good, but his skill ceiling is not super high. I mean, unless you're pulling crazy mind games, and even then you got to get lucky because it does show exactly where your attack's going to be before you even do it. Blight, I would not put Blight in S tier anymore.
Okay, the thing I will say about Pyramid Head is I feel like his skill ceiling is directly proportional to the amount of the survivors, and the survivors have an insane skill ceiling. Generally, not as much as like some of the different killers in a game, like Singularity, and Billy, but like Pyramid Head does have like a pretty high skill ceiling, and he has one of the best powers in the entire game. Like, if a Pyramid Head knows how to hit his shots, it's nearly unavoidable to not get hit. Given high level survivors, they will pre-run and prevent you from getting bloodlust. But a good Pyramid Head, they can zone at any point during the match. Just like a Huntress can with one hatchet, which is an incredibly strong power just by itself, even if you don't launch off the rights of the dam or whatever it's called. Um, so yeah, and he doesn't synergize very well with like Scourge hooks and perks that require you to actually like hook a survivor, stuff like that. But neither does like Chucky. Like the only one he somewhat synergizes well with is Pop, and he has Chucky as I think all the way up here. Where he put Chucky? He put Chucky in like fourth strongest here so far. Yeah, fourth strongest. It blows my mind he puts Pyramid Head that low. Way more than Spirit and Blight mix up. And Chucky being a high. But yeah, I guess that should be it for this video. Kind of interesting to watch. I do like seeing where different killer mains put different killers. I can definitely understand the logic behind a lot of his pits. It's It's just like a few reshufflings I would do that aren't too far apart. Other than Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head is so farther from what I thought he'd be in. Normally regarded as a A tier killer. And I would even say he's like a mid A tier. I would say he beats out Vecna and Alien. But anyways, make sure you give Stalk a like and follow, subscribe, whatnot. And I hope everybody has a great and lovely day. Bye bye. There we go.